One of the things that I have to think about when I'm making a video is, what am I going to wear? And sometimes I have a jacket that I really like, but it's the same color as the background that I'm using. And in photography, you want to be able to separate your subject for the background. So just because I like a jacket, maybe I like the way it looks on me, it doesn't look good for the production. Now, I want you to think about that as a metaphor. Do we do the same thing with our orchestras when it comes to programming? Do we pick pieces that we just like, but they don't fit our orchestra very well? If you go back to Season 2, Episode 11, in the overview section, I did a little bit of a biography on Richard Meyer, so I'm not going to do that again here in this video. What I'm going to do in this video is compare two different Richard Meyer pieces, because Richard Meyer wrote a ton of pieces, and so when we think about programming, which Richard Meyer piece is best for your orchestra? Richard Meyer wrote a lot, and he wrote a lot for different grade levels, but if we take two grade 1 pieces, like we take Dragon Hunter, for instance, which is a widely popular piece, and then we take Shadow Dance, which is not quite as popular, but still pretty good, and we compare those side by side, which is the better contest piece and which is the better spring concert piece from an objective point of view. Most students and teachers are going to say that they like Dragon Hunter better. And sometimes we say, well, if the students like it, they're going to practice it more and so on and so forth. But like from an objective point of view, Shadow Dance is just much easier to teach. They're both grade 1s on the list, but we compare them side to side. Which one's likely to sound better for your group? It's going to be Shadow Dance. So when I program for my orchestras, I tend to use Shadow Dance as more of a contest piece and Dragon Hunter as more of a concert piece or maybe even a festival piece. So why is this? Well, it's just there are fewer techniques to teach in Shadow Dance than there are in Dragon Hunter. The fewer techniques that we have, the less teaching that we have to do for those techniques. Now, we are in a 3/4 meter here in Shadow Dance, but Richard Meyer avoids many of the pitfalls that we typically see with the 3/4 meter and strings. We don't get a whole lot of half note quarter notes. In fact, we only get one, which is here in measure 27 in the second violin viola part. One measure of this and a lot of 3/4 pieces in this genre, in this grade level, it's like the whole piece. So that makes it a lot easier. There are some uneven bows that we need to teach, and I'm going to have a specific segment just on uneven bows and some teaching strategies. And if you get the teaching companion for Shadow Dance, it's got everything broken down in here. It isolates the rhythms that you need so that you can teach just the bow at once and then add the left hand back in. And it's got a part for everybody so that everybody gets to learn the technique and nobody gets left out, so that you don't have people falling asleep or misbehaving in your classroom. You don't need the teaching companion. You can get everything you need from the videos. Some people just like it written down. They like to print it off and hand it out. Some people like to teach by rote better. Whatever helps. Maybe a combination of both, but it's there for you on teachingorchestra.com, and that's one of the ways that I feed my 3 children. A couple of other things that make Shadow Dance an easier piece is that there's nothing on the E string. So if your orchestra does not yet sound great on the E string, this might be a good piece for you. However, there are some notes on the A string for basses. So if your bass players aren't really familiar with the A string yet, you might want to catch them up. There's not a lot on there, and it uses the same A, B, C sharp finger patterns that you're going to see on the other strings. But I really think that Shadow Dance is a really good contest piece, particularly for younger orchestras and for less experienced orchestras. This is the audience participation part of the video. What's your favorite Richard Meyer contest piece? Drop it down in the comment section below. It helps feed the algorithm, and it helps get my content out to more orchestra teachers, and there might be some teachers out there that could use some resources. I know I did when I first started teaching, and I still like to have resources, so hope to see you. Drop a comment. In the next video, we're going to talk about tone development and intonation, because if you don't have good tone and you can't play in tune, it's going to be really hard to make this piece or any other piece sound good. So developing those fundamentals is paramount, and we're going to go over that in the next segment. So we'll see you then.